In 1993, a line of code could barely produce a stick figure. Today, that same approach produces universes that are indistinguishable from reality. This quantum jump did not occur by chance. It was engineered in one of Denny's booths. On a napkin, three guys driven by caffeine and ambition drew their vision of the future. What's their vision? To transform computers. What was the result? A trillion-dollar company now drives everything from smartphone games to artificial intelligence that predicts climate change. This is the story of NVIDIA, a tale of near bankruptcy and stratospheric success, of underdogs becoming titans, of how the company that began by rendering pixels ended up reshaping reality. It's not just about graphics cards or stock prices, it's about the audacity to dream big, the resilience to face failure, and the innovation that defines our technological future. NVIDIA's story is about rebooting your expectations. Welcome to the revolution. Welcome to NVIDIA. In the heart of Silicon Valley, where technical revelations are born every day, one company's tale stands out. It's the story of visionaries who dared to conceive a world in which computers might build out of this world virtual worlds, artificial intelligence could address humanity's most pressing problems, and a small business could expand to transform the very nature of our digital universe. This is the tale of NVIDIA, a business that started with 3 engineers and an idea that evolved into a trillion-dollar behemoth that drives everything from our favorite video games to cutting-edge AI systems that will shape our future. It's a journey that will take NVIDIA from the verge of bankruptcy to the height of technical innovation, defying critics and transforming whole industries along the way. In the process, NVIDIA will not only reinvent itself, but also accelerate a seismic shift in how people engage with technology, blurring the borders between virtual and physical. Their narrative demonstrates the strength of endurance, the value of timing, and the enormous potential that exists at the junction of human creativity and cutting-edge technology. But before we begin this fantastic voyage, if you're captivated by stories of ingenuity, tenacity, and the never-ending quest of technical excellence, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and click that notification bell. Your contribution allows us to bring more in-depth stories about the firms and innovators that are altering our world. And don't forget to leave your ideas in the comments section below. We enjoy hearing your perspectives. Now, let's go back in time to 1993, when the internet was in its infancy and the concept of realistic 3D graphics on a desktop computer looked like science fiction. Picture this: a Denny's diner in San Jose, California. The air is thick with the smell of coffee and the sizzle of bacon. But at one particular booth, something far more exciting is cooking up. 3 men, Jensen Huang, Chris Mikowski, and Curtis Priam, are huddled over a pile of napkins scribbling furiously. They're not planning a meal. They're planning a revolution. Jensen Huang, a Taiwanese American with degrees from Oregon State and Stanford, had cut his teeth at Advanced Micro Devices, AMD, and LSI Logic. Chris Mikowski, a Florida graduate, brought expertise from HP and Sun Microsystems. And Curtis Priam, the wild card of the group, was credited with designing the first graphics processor for PCs during his time at Sun. Their backgrounds were diverse, but their vision was unified: to create a new kind of computing, one that could render stunning 3D visuals and bring virtual worlds to life. In an era where most computers struggled to display basic 2D graphics, these 3 dared to dream of lifelike 3D animations running on personal computers. Reflecting on those early days, Jensen Huang recalls, "We started a company and the business plan basically read something like this. We're going to take technology that was available only in the most expensive workstations. We're going to try to make it and reinvent the technology and make it inexpensive. And the killer app was video games. The energy of their booth was electric, fueled by a potent mixture of caffeine, ambition, and the thrill of the unknown. As they debated and sketched, other diners cast curious glances their way, oblivious to the fact that they were witnessing the birth of a technological revolution. Little did anyone know that this late-night brainstorming session would one day be commemorated with a plaque, marking the spot where a trillion-dollar idea was born over plates of greasy diner food. As they sipped their coffee and sketched their ideas, they couldn't have known that they were laying the foundation for a company that would one day be valued at over $1 trillion. They couldn't have imagined that their technology would eventually power everything from blockbuster movies to autonomous vehicles. All they knew was that they had a vision, and they were determined to make it a reality. Huang remembers the skepticism they faced. "I remember calling my mom and telling her that we would start this company. And she says, 'You know, what did you do? What do you guys do?' And I said, 'We build these things called 3D graphics chips, and people would use them to play games.' And then she said, 'Why don't you go get a job?'" But visions alone don't build a company. This trio needed funding, and in the cutthroat world of Silicon Valley startups, that means facing one of the toughest audiences in the business: venture capitalists. As Huang prepared to pitch to investors, he faced widespread skepticism. He recounts, "I took this idea to Sand Hill Road, and they told me that there was no video game market. People don't start companies to play games." Enter Don Valentine of Sequoia Capital, a legendary figure in the Valley known for his sharp wit and even sharper business acumen. Valentine had already made a name for himself by backing companies like Apple and Atari. Now, he sat across the table from Jensen Huang, listening to a pitch that could have changed the course of computing history. There was just one problem. Huang was bombing. Nervous and inexperienced, he stumbled through the presentation, struggling to convey the revolutionary potential of their ideas. It seemed like NVIDIA might be stillborn, another Silicon Valley dream crushed before it could take flight. But sometimes fate has a funny way of intervening. Valentine, impressed by a glowing recommendation from Huang's former boss at LSI Logic, decided to take a chance on the fledgling company. Huang vividly recalls Valentine's parting words. "And then on the way out, he reminded me that Electronics Arts CTO is 14 years old and he had to be driven to work by his mom. And he just wanted to remind me that that is who he's relying on. And then after that, he said, 'If you lose my money, I'll kill you.' And that was kind of my memories of that first meeting." With $20 million in funding, NVIDIA was born. But the road ahead was far from smooth. Their first product, the NV1 chip, was a technical marvel, but a commercial flop. It was optimized for quadratic surfaces when the industry was moving towards triangles. Of 250,000 units produced, a staggering 249,000 were returned unsold. It was a crushing blow that could have ended the company before it truly began. The failure of the NV1 chip wasn't just a setback. It was a catastrophe that threatened to obliterate NVIDIA before it had truly begun. The company's ambitious dreams lay shattered like the 249,000 unsold chips gathering dust in warehouses. The tech world, ever hungry for the next big thing, had taken a bite out of NVIDIA's offering and spat it out. As news of the failure spread, the vultures began to circle. Investors who had once seen NVIDIA as the golden child of Silicon Valley now viewed it as a cautionary tale. The company's bank account, once flush with venture capital, was hemorrhaging money at an alarming rate. Each day brought NVIDIA closer to the precipice of bankruptcy. In the company's sparse offices, the atmosphere was thick with desperation. Engineers who had once worked with boundless enthusiasm now moved like ghosts, their eyes haunted by the specter of failure. The founders, Jensen, Chris, and Curtis, faced a crucible that would have broken lesser men. Late one night, as the trio sat in their offices surrounded by the detritus of their failed dreams, Jensen broke the heavy silence. "We have two choices," he said, his voice steady despite the weight of their situation. "We can admit defeat, close up shop, and go down in history as another failed startup. Or we can fight." Chris and Curtis looked up, seeing a fire in Jensen's eyes that rekindled their own determination. "We didn't come this far to give up," Chris said. Curtis nodded, a grim smile on his face. "If we're going down swinging." That night, fueled by a potent mixture of desperation and determination, they made a pact. They would pour every ounce of their knowledge, every spark of their creativity, and every last dollar into one final roll of the dice. They had one shot left, one chance to either revolutionize the industry or go down in flames. As dawn broke, they set to work on what would become the Riva 128. The clock was ticking, and with only 1 month of payroll left, they were in a race against time. The fate of NVIDIA and their own futures hung in the balance. Looking back on this crucial moment, Huang said, "Riva 128 was a reset for our company, because by the time we realized we had gone down the wrong road, Microsoft had already rolled out DirectX. It was fundamentally incompatible with NVIDIA's architecture. 30 competitors had already showed up, and that time, 1997, was probably NVIDIA's best moment." The launch day for the Riva 128 dawned bright and clear. But for the NVIDIA team, it felt like standing on the edge of a cliff preparing to jump without knowing if your parachute would open. The cavernous convention center buzzed with activity as tech enthusiasts, industry insiders, and curious onlookers milled about. At the NVIDIA booth, Jensen Huang stood ready, his casual attire belaying the maelstrom of emotions churning within him. This was it, the moment of truth. As Jensen began his presentation, a hush fell over the crowd. He spoke of a new era in graphics technology, of possibilities that seemed to border on science fiction. But the tech world had heard grand promises before. They wanted proof. With a deep breath, Jensen signaled to his team. The lights dimmed, and on the massive screen behind him, the Riva 128 roared to life. What followed was nothing short of a revelation. Colors exploded across the screen in a dazzling display of graphical prowess. 3D shapes morphed and danced with fluidity that seemed to defy the laws of computing. Games that had once chugged along at a snail's pace now flowed like liquid silk. The crowd gasped, then silence. For a heart-stopping moment, Jensen feared they had somehow failed again. But then, like a dam bursting, the applause began. It started with a few claps and quickly swelled into a thunderous ovation. In the days that followed, orders flooded in. Reviewers tripped over themselves to lavish praise on the Riva 128. Revolutionary, they called it, a quantum leap in graphics technology. Within 4 months, NVIDIA had sold 1 million units. The company that had been on the brink of bankruptcy was now being hailed as the new king of graphics technology. Jensen, Chris, and Curtis, who had once faced the very real prospect of personal financial ruin, now found themselves at the helm of Silicon Valley's latest success story. But even as they celebrated their triumph, they knew this was just the beginning. The Riva 128 hadn't just saved NVIDIA, it had opened the door to a future filled with limitless possibilities. As they raised a toast to their success, Jensen smiled at his co-founders. "Gentlemen," he said, "now the real work begins." As the new millennium dawned, NVIDIA found itself at the forefront of a booming industry. Video games were evolving from simple 2D sprites to complex 3D worlds, and NVIDIA's GPUs were the engines driving this transformation. The company's rise coincided perfectly with the explosion of PC gaming. Titles like Quake 3 Arena and Unreal Tournament pushed the boundaries of what was possible in computer graphics, and gamers scrambled to get their hands on NVIDIA's latest cards. But NVIDIA wasn't content to rest on its laurels. The company continued to innovate, releasing new and more powerful GPUs at a breakneck pace. Each new generation brought significant improvements in performance and capabilities, fueling an arms race in the gaming industry. This period also saw NVIDIA forge crucial partnerships. In 2001, Microsoft chose NVIDIA to provide the graphics hardware for the new Xbox gaming console. It was a massive vote of confidence in NVIDIA's technology and opened up a whole new market for the company. The gaming industry's growth seemed unstoppable, and NVIDIA was riding the wave to new heights. But even as they dominated the world of graphics, the company's leaders were already looking towards new horizons. In the depths of NVIDIA's labs, a new revolution was brewing. Engineers worked tirelessly, pushing the boundaries of what silicon and code could achieve. Their creations didn't just render pixels. They breathed life into digital worlds, blurring the line between reality and imagination. As gamers lost themselves in ever more immersive experiences, NVIDIA's influence spread beyond the PC, reaching into living rooms and arcades. The company that once struggled to sell a single chip was now shaping the dreams of millions. Yet for Jensen Huang and his team, this was just the beginning. In quiet moments, between product launches and board meetings, they dared to imagine a future where NVIDIA's technology would transform not just games, but the very fabric of human experience. Little did they know, the seeds of that future were already taking root, waiting to burst forth into a new era of innovation. As NVIDIA basked in the glow of its gaming success, an unexpected visitor arrived at their Silicon Valley headquarters. Dr. Andrew Ng, a prominent figure in artificial intelligence research, had a proposition that would change the course of the company forever. "Your GPUs," Dr. Ng explained, his eyes alight with excitement. "They're not just for games. They could be the key to unlocking the future of AI." Jensen Huang listened, intrigued but skeptical. AI had been the stuff of science fiction and academic research, not a viable business opportunity. But as Dr. Ng laid out the vision, Jensen's skepticism gave way to a growing sense of excitement. The parallel processing capabilities that made NVIDIA's chips so adept at rendering graphics, it turned out, were also ideal for the complex calculations required in machine learning and AI. It was a classic case of serendipity. NVIDIA had inadvertently created the perfect tool for an entirely different field. Jensen called an emergency meeting with his top executives. The room was divided. Some saw AI as a distraction from their core gaming business. Others, catching the glimmer of possibility in Jensen's eyes, were ready to take the leap. "We stand at a crossroads," Jensen announced, his voice filled with conviction. "We can continue down the path we know, or we can dare to reimagine what NVIDIA can be. The choice we make today will define not just our company, but the future of computing itself." The decision was made. NVIDIA would dive headfirst into the world of AI. In 2006, they introduced CUDA, Compute Unified Device Architecture, a parallel computing platform that allowed developers to use GPUs for general-purpose processing. It was a bold move, one that puzzled many industry observers. Critics scoffed. "NVIDIA is losing focus," they said. "They're chasing pipe dreams while competitors eat into their gaming market share." But Jensen and his team pressed on. They hired AI researchers, forged partnerships with universities, and poured resources into developing new architectural optimized for AI workloads. It was a massive gamble, betting the company's future on a technology that was still in its infancy. For years, the payoff remained uncertain. AI breakthroughs were slow to materialize, and NVIDIA's stock price stagnated. Shareholders grew restless, calling for a return to the company's gaming roots. But then, almost overnight, everything changed. Advances in deep learning suddenly accelerated, and researchers around the world were scrambling for computing power to train their increasingly complex models. And there was NVIDIA, perfectly positioned with the hardware and software stack that they had spent years developing. As AI began to permeate every industry, from healthcare to finance to automotive vehicles, NVIDIA found itself at the heart of a new technological revolution. The company that had once been known only for powering video games was now driving the future of artificial intelligence. Jensen Huang stood at the podium during NVIDIA's annual technology conference, looking out at a sea of faces that included not just gamers, but AI researchers, data scientists, and CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. With a smile, he opened his keynote speech. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the AI revolution, and welcome to the new NVIDIA.
Demand is literally from every corner of the world.
As the 2010s progressed, artificial intelligence went from a sci-fi concept to a business imperative. Companies across all industries began to realize the transformative potential of AI, from improving customer service to revolutionizing healthcare. And at the heart of this AI revolution was NVIDIA. The company's GPUs, originally designed for gaming, turned out to be the perfect hardware for training complex AI models. Suddenly, NVIDIA wasn't just a gaming company. It was the company powering the future of artificial intelligence. The demand for NVIDIA's AI-capable GPUs skyrocketed. Tech giants like Google, Facebook, and Amazon became major customers, using thousands of NVIDIA GPUs to power their AI research and applications. Startups in the AI space likewise flocked to NVIDIA's technology. NVIDIA's stock price began to soar as investors recognized the company's central role in the AI ecosystem. From 2016 to 2023, NVIDIA's stock price increased by over 1,000%, making it one of the best performing stocks in the market. But NVIDIA didn't just ride the AI wave, it helped shape it. The company invested heavily in AI research, developing new architectural specifically designed for AI workloads. It also created software tools and frameworks that made it easier for developers to create AI applications using NVIDIA hardware. However, NVIDIA's rise wasn't without its challenges. As the company grew more powerful, it faced increasing scrutiny and competition. One major controversy erupted in 2015 over the GeForce GTX 970 graphics cards. Users discovered that the card's performances didn't match its advertised specifications, leading to accusations of false advertising.
During adversity, you're more focused. And when you're more focused, you perform better. And
NVIDIA eventually settled a class action lawsuit over the issue, agreeing to pay $30 to each buyer of the card. The company also faced challenges in the crypto mining market. As cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin gained popularity, miners began using NVIDIA GPUs to solve the complex mathematical problems required for mining. This led to shortages and price spikes, frustrating NVIDIA's core gaming customers. The company struggled to balance the demands of these two very different markets. On the competitive front, NVIDIA faced increasing pressure from rivals like AMD and Intel. Both companies stepped up their efforts in the GPU market, challenging NVIDIA's dominance in the AI space. Google and others began developing their own custom AI chips, potentially threatening NVIDIA's position.
We risked everything to pursue deep learning.
Perhaps the biggest setback came in 2022, when NVIDIA's planned $40 billion acquisition of ARM Holdings fell through due to regulatory concerns. The deal would have given NVIDIA control over a crucial piece of mobile chip technology, but it was ultimately deemed too anti-competitive. Despite these challenges, NVIDIA continued to grow and innovate. The company's ability to navigate these obstacles while maintaining its technological edge was a testament to its resilience and adaptability. As AI continued to dominate the tech landscape, NVIDIA's fortunes soared to unprecedented heights. In 2023, the company achieved a milestone that few could have imagined back in those early days at Denny's. NVIDIA's market capitalization surpassed $1 trillion. This achievement put NVIDIA in a rarefied air, joining the ranks of tech giants like Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon. For a company that started with 3 engineers and a dream, it's a stunning validation of their vision and perseverance. The trillion-dollar valuation wasn't just a number, it reflected NVIDIA's central position in some of the most important technological trends of our time. From powering the graphics in the latest blockbuster games to enabling breakthrough AI research, NVIDIA's technology has become ubiquitous. But for Jensen Huang and his team, the milestone was just another step on a much larger journey. As Huang often reminded his employees, we're only 30 days away from going out of business. This unofficial motto, born in the company's early stages, continued to drive NVIDIA's culture of innovation and urgency. As we look to the future, NVIDIA stands at the forefront of several exciting technological frontiers. The company continues to push the boundaries of AI, working on more advanced models that could lead to breakthroughs in fields like healthcare, climate science, and autonomous vehicles. One particular intriguing area of NVIDIA's work in robotics is collaboration with other tech giants. NVIDIA is investing in the development of humanoid robots, potentially ushering in a new era of automation and human-machine interaction. The company is also deeply involved in the development of the metaverse, leveraging its expertise in graphics and AI to create more immersive and realistic virtual worlds. As the lines between physical and digital realities continue to blur, NVIDIA's technology is likely to play a crucial role. Moreover, NVIDIA's GPUs are becoming increasingly important in scientific research, from simulating complex physical systems to analyzing vast datasets in fields like astronomy and particle physics. As we come to the end of our journey through NVIDIA's remarkable history, we're left with a profound sense of awe at the sheer scope of the company's impact. From 3 dreamers in a Denny's booth to a trillion-dollar tech titan reshaping the very fabric of our world, NVIDIA's story is nothing short of extraordinary. But NVIDIA's legacy isn't just about market caps or technological breakthroughs. It's about the fundamental ways in which the company has changed how we interact with technology and, by extension, with each other. Think about the child in a remote village accessing world-class education through AI-powered learning platforms running on NVIDIA hardware. Consider the cancer patient whose life is saved by an early diagnosis thanks to AI algorithms crunching medical data on NVIDIA GPUs. Imagine the climate scientists using NVIDIA-powered simulations to predict and mitigate the impacts of global warming. These are the real-world implications of NVIDIA's relentless pursuit of innovation. The company hasn't just changed games or computers, it's changing lives. Yet, for its success, NVIDIA has never lost touch with its roots. The spirit of these 3 engineers, Jensen, Chris, and Curtis, still permeates every aspect of the company. It's visible in the way NVIDIA continues to take bold risks, to pivot when necessary, and to always push the boundaries of what's possible. As we look into the future, it's clear that NVIDIA's journey is far from over. The challenges that lie ahead, from achieving true artificial general intelligence to solving global issues like climate change and food scarcity, are monumental. But if there's one thing NVIDIA's history has taught us, it's that the company thrives on challenges. In many ways, NVIDIA's story is a microcosm of the broader narrative of technological progress. It's a tale of visionaries who see possibilities where others see limitations, of perseverance in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds, and of the transformative power of human ingenuity. As we stand on the brink of a new era, one shaped by AI, quantum computing, and technologies we can barely imagine, NVIDIA's role becomes more crucial than ever. The company that began by revolutionizing computer graphics is now poised to revolutionize, well, everything. In his keynote speeches, Jensen Huang often reminds his audience that the world needs NVIDIA now more than ever. As we've seen through this journey, that's not a hyperbole, it's a promise. a promise to continue innovating, to continue pushing boundaries, and to continue shaping a future that we can all look forward to. So, as we close this chapter of NVIDIA's story, we do so with the knowledge that the most exciting chapters are yet to be written. In the ever-evolving narrative of human progress, NVIDIA isn't just a character, it's one of the authors. And if the past is any indication, the future that NVIDIA helps to write will be nothing short of extraordinary. The dream that began at Denny's booth continues, expanding now to encompass not just a company or an industry, but the very future of humanity itself. In the end, NVIDIA's greatest innovation isn't a chip or an AI model. It's the idea that with vision, perseverance, and willingness to take bold risks, we can shape the world in ways we've only dreamed of. That's the true legacy of NVIDIA, and it's a legacy that will continue to unfold in exciting and unexpected ways for generations to come. If you enjoyed this video, we kindly invite you to subscribe and enable notifications to stay updated on future content like this. Thank you for your support.